Hi guys, welcome to the Language Dad YouTube channel. My name is Johnny. In today's video we're going to be talking all about how I'm going to attempt to learn the languages that I want to learn here in 2026. So I've just released a video a few seconds ago about which language I'm learning in 2026, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how I'm going to learn those languages. So without further ado, let's begin. So I talked in that video about German. So my German level is pretty good at the moment. It's not perfect by any means, but it's definitely conversational. I can have full-blown conversation about a range of topics. I don't tend to slow people down very much. I make loads of grammatical mistakes, but I'm pretty chilled with that, as I've talked about in videos before. So for German, for me, the best way for me to improve my German is just to watch tons of German TV as much as possible without subtitles and listen to native level content in German. So German podcasts designed for German people about things that I'm interested in. That for me will be perfect for my German, because all that's doing is just getting my brain used to absorbing the German at a subconscious level, and it just becoming more a part of who I am. There's also shout out to the people at work that I speak to in German, absolute legends. Vielen Dank für das. Das ist sehr cool, und ich fühle mich sehr dankbar, dass wir können auf Deutsch sprechen. So I was just saying that it's really cool. I feel really grateful that we can speak in German. Again, I know there's German speakers who watch this who are like, you probably made some mistakes just in that, but there you go. It's not a big deal. And as you can see, it's a bit slower than English, but it's fine. So for me, for German, it's just about absolutely nailing full-on native content. My Dutch, I mentioned in the video where I was talking about I wanted to improve my Dutch because we're going to the Netherlands and to the Flemish-speaking part of Belgium this year. With Dutch, I'm not quite at the level I am with German for sure, but actually my Dutch understanding is good enough that I can understand probably about 60 to 70% of what's going on without subtitles. So actually what I just need to do there again is just absolutely hammer so much Dutch native level content that my brain is just like, yeah, wicked. I'm also reading this amazing book here, which is a comparative grammar of German, Dutch and Afrikaans to really understand those similarities and differences between German, Dutch and Afrikaans, which is super, super, super cool. So yeah, it's like an absolutely incredible book that's genuinely phenomenal. There's one as well, which I'll be using my Latin speaking languages, by the same author, absolute legend. So this is Spanish, Portuguese, Italian and French. So it just goes through every aspect of the grammar of those languages. So that's really helpful for the comparison stuff. So it's mainly because I want to be speaking a lot and I want to understand what people are saying. I'm a big advocate. You practice whatever you practice a lot, you get good at. So for me, it's like loads of listening in these two languages. It's going to push me on, and then a bit of this grammar is going to help me to consolidate and understand the similarities between those languages. But yeah, so Mikhail Petronin, that dude, absolute legend. I've pretty much guaranteed that you won't ever see this YouTube video, but if you ever do happen to stumble across this, amazing. Like, genuinely, thank you so much for taking the time to write these books. They've been so helpful to me, and also I imagine to the countless other people who've got them. They're absolute, like, how you've written them is just unbelievable. Fair play. Very, very cool. So yeah, those books are super useful. So that would be my German and my Dutch. That's how I'm going to try to really like nail those this year and really understand the similarities and differences between them by looking at the grammar in that book, which is pretty cool. Similarly, my French and my Spanish are at the level where, even though I probably understand 60% of what I watch on TV without subs in French and Spanish. So to tick those on, it's just going to be loads more listening and loads of speaking with the people I speak to at work in French and Spanish. So muchas gracias and merci beaucoup. Thank you so much for speaking to me in those languages. It makes a massive difference to me and it's very, very cool. So massively appreciated. So that's how I'm going to push on with those ones. Those are my ones that I'm definitely best at the moment. Then with Italian, I really want to focus on that this year, and I'm beginning my Italian. Oh, it's not here at the moment, but I'm beginning, because it's in the car. I'm beginning it with the Michel Thomas method, which is an incredible method for basically starting a language from scratch. So my Italian is, I've learnt a bit of Italian back in 2020, but it's sort of at the back of my mind. So I've just decided to start from scratch with the Michel Thomas method, which helps you to build sentences. A really effective method of language learning, very cool. So I'm using the Michel Thomas method to get my sentence structures up in my head so I can start to speak Italian, un po' d'italiano, I think that's right, a bit of Italian. And then basically going to be looking again at this book to see those similarities between your Italian, your French and your Spanish and your Portuguese. But also, and similar is going to be for later in the year when I go on to Portuguese, do exactly the same thing. Just like look at, see if, I don't know if there is a Michel Torres for Portuguese, I have to look into that. But if there is, I'll get it, I'll use that. But also because my understanding of Italian and Portuguese, because of my understanding of French and Spanish is already all right, I can understand probably maybe 30 to 40% of what's going on in ordinary like TV programs in those languages or podcasts for native speakers of those languages. What I'm going to do is use channels that are designed for intermediate learners and listen to tons of that content. So for example, with Italian, which I'm doing at the moment, Lucrezia does an incredible YouTube channel and a Spotify thing where she talks at slightly slower pace, probably a lot slower pace than she normally would, to people who are learning Italian, for people who are learning Italian. So I'm listening to loads of Lucrezia. So how do I say this? Grazie mille, Lucrezia. Thanks a million, Lucrezia. Absolute legend. Or thanks 1,000, I think, mille. But anyway, yeah, so that's really cool. So I'm doing loads of that. And then with, what else are we doing? So Portuguese later in the year, doing the same thing. Find some podcasts that are aimed at intermediate learners and then just hammer in listening to those and then get the grammar book out. And I should be all right with that. And then with the Nordic languages, so the Scandinavian languages of the North Germanic languages, Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, those three, just listening, because I've done quite a lot of work already with Swedish and Danish and looking at the similarities and differences. There's an incredible YouTube channel for Swedish. So it's Learn Svenska med Katrin. So Katrin does an incredible job of doing slow Swedish. So what's that? Långsam svenska on YouTube. So slow Swedish on YouTube, absolutely incredible. So cool. So yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for all that content. Tack så mycket for the amazing content about Sverige i svenska. Svenska språket. Yeah, svenska språket, the Swedish language. Yeah, so amazing from Katrin. So I'll be doing that. She's also got a Spotify thing where she takes you through the basics, like for beginner levels, which is amazing. I'll be listening to a lot of that back in the summer, so I'll go back over that again as well. And then for Danish, there's an amazing podcast, Danish with Dans med Christina. I think I should have written that one down because I haven't done this for quite a long time now. So massive apologies if it isn't Christina, but I think it is. So yeah, absolutely brilliant podcast for intermediate Danish learners. I should shout out as well to Inner French for French is absolutely incredible for French. The Inner French YouTube channel on Spotify, amazing, like genuinely, absolutely brilliant. And Easy German and Easy Dutch are fantastic for learners of German and Dutch. Those easy YouTube channels are fantastic for language learning in general. So yeah, should have mentioned those ones. But very cool. So Hugo doing Inner French, merci beaucoup pour tout. Yeah, tu es un vrai legend. You're a real legend, man. Amazing. So yeah, that's where we're at now then. So yeah, that'll be most of them. Catalan, I'm going to have to just wait and see where I'm at with that. I think, because I haven't looked into learning Catalan at any stage yet. So for Catalan, it's just going to be a case of seeing how much content I can find on YouTube, and there'll be tons, I know, because there always is, but also seeing if I can use all the other Romance languages that I've understood by that point to try to piece together the sound changes, differences between Catalan and all these other Romance languages. So I'm super excited about that later in the year. And then the elephant in the room, the one that I haven't started at all particularly, is Icelandic. I do have, and I was looking at, quite a lot last year, this little chestnut for Old Icelandic and Old Norse. And Icelandic has changed a little. That's going to be quite useful for that. And that's got a whole bunch of sentences at the back of it in all these different languages, which is very, very cool. So yeah, that's cool. And then, yeah, I should have mentioned actually this one by Robertson B. Kuntz for the Scandi languages, because that is a wicked comparative grammar. And that's got a whole bunch of sentences in all the languages as well. So that's really cool, and that's got some Icelandic in it. So that has been pretty useful for that and all. And then the only other things that I would mention, actually, that I haven't mentioned yet, is if I get a bit of spare time, I'll be doing some reading, and these books are amazing. So Ollie, what's his surname? I just had a mind blank. Sorry, Ollie Richards, absolutely brilliant. I've got these short stories in a variety of languages. They're so cool. They're designed for higher level beginners / lower level intermediate. Just gets you into that language stuff, which is super and amazing. And then, yeah, I I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, no, it's not. I'm not going to be using these this year, but shout out to Benny Lewis, because this guy has had a massive impact on my language learning. I read Fluent 3 months, right fairly early, I can't remember exactly when, but fairly early on in my language learning journey. And this dude has been so inspirational to me. So Benny, if you ever do see this, thank you so much for everything, mate. Yeah. Oh, and I should have given out a shout out when I was talking about Dutch to, without a doubt, my favourite YouTube thing within any language, and that is saying something considering all the ones that I've spoken about so far, is Bart de Pauw's incredible Heb je zin series in het Nederlands. Dat voor mij is de mooiste ding hier op YouTube, man. Dankjewel. Ik hou van Heb je zin and dank je. Mate, absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, if you are learning Dutch and you haven't checked out Heb je zin, you need to do that. So yeah, that is pretty much it, I think. Yeah, no, it's not, because Icelandic, I've got distracted with that. Icelandic, because I haven't started it yet, it's going to be a bit of a watch this space. I'm going to try to work out from listening to it how similar it is to some of the stuff that I've already understood by learning a bit of tiny bit of Old Norse and tiny bit of Old English from Simon Roper, the absolute YouTube legend. We've used the Ecolinguist YouTube channel. If you're interested in languages, you don't know what Ecolinguist is, put Eco, E-C-O, Linguist into YouTube. Unbelievably amazing comparison videos between all the languages. Absolutely incredible. Shout out to Norbert for that phenomenal channel. So yeah, that is going to be really how I learn Icelandic, is like looking at how similar it is to a bit of Old Norse, and then just finding YouTubers that I haven't found yet that are talking about the introductory elements of Icelandic, how you say hello, goodbye, thanks, all of that sort of stuff, the numbers, how you say I have and I am, and then I'll just build it from there. I will talk about that in more detail though, because starting language from scratch, unless they have got, Michelle Thomas is amazing for that, and so is Paul Noble, by the way. Paul Noble does like very sort of very amazing method of building sentences up as well. So Paul Noble's an amazing person to use for language learning and all. So he does sort of build sentences up in to help you to be able to say things in separate languages, a bit like Michelle Thomas does, but we're using different sentences and stuff, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, so I'll see if there's anything for that for Icelandic, but if there isn't, I'll just have to start from scratch and learn the basic verbs, basic sentence constructions, and just go from there. I'm really looking forward to it, but that'll probably be in the second half of this year, because I want to max out on the ones that I've talked about previously before I do Icelandic. So yeah, hope that all has made sense. I know it's been quite a long video, so hopefully it's been an interesting one though, and it's given you plenty of food for thought if you are learning languages too, and it's given you a bit of an insight into exactly how I'm going to go about learning the languages I'm attempting to learn this year. Ciao for now. Have a lovely year.